I decided to step away from trying to chase black women because I was chasing black women. And before that, the black women that I had dated and been in relationship with either treated me like shit and thought I didn't realize it.
And guess what? I gave my strap to my girl. Swear to God. And I didn't even want to.
Or expected way too much of me because I'm a black king.
Because I was just hotel hopping with her ID.
And I wasn't living up to it and end up cheating on me anyway.
I got arrested on terrorism charges because grenades had gone off on this person's house.
And I'm seeing that they are wanting and expecting so much more.
And that was for conspiracy to pervert the course of justice with use of hand grenades in the way of shooting and attempted kidnapping of a High Court official.
I never found a black woman that could step in my mother's shoes, not even remotely close. When I mean remotely close, not one black woman have I seen walk this planet of Earth is in the image of my mother or my grandmother.
Okay, so your mum is black.
My mum raised 5 boys by herself.
Now, you know, to be fair, we always want to look and see the type of character that you have, the type of life that you live in, the type of energy that you're putting out there. How, if you're involved in these things, how you come across good women. This isn't a Tyler Perry movie where you're the drug dealer, the gun runner, terrorist, and then suddenly there's just this fine, upstanding banker who happens to see you and sees the good in you. No, the people you're around are a reflection of the type of life that you truck in. That's it. So if you're in the mud, if you're in the trenches, you're gonna be surrounded by people like that. So now, when you're on this show, through your own popularity, not through the character that you exhibit, people are gonna look and say, okay, if I don't know anything about you, I'm now going to sit here and listen to you have these conversations back and forth. And yeah, and to be fair, maybe this isn't the most exemplary, high bar exemplary conversations that we should be listening to, the BK chat, where everything sort of went left. But you can't put that onus on all black women. When you only have an experience with a narrow experience with a certain type of woman because you're leading a certain type of life, what is it supposed to happen? What does that say to anyone? People that aren't even in your neighborhood, in your vicinity, anywhere in your life. You put that out. I've never met. Cool. We understand that's a personal thing. That's a personal thing. If you were interested in meeting other type of women, better type of women that he said that are like your mom, maybe you need to change where you're looking. Maybe you need to change some things about you in your life and see who you're attracting, what areas you sort of, you know, you're in to see these better women. Because I believe he says later on, and we'll get to it, his mom raised, 5 children by herself. We know what that sort of takes from a woman. You look, and to be fair, we always put women, we put our mothers on this highest pedestal. This, especially when they're single mothers and they had to struggle to find a way to make it happen. We never look and say, she struggled, she found a way to get it done, and I'm now a better man for it. Everyone thanks their mom, from the best men to the worst of them. But those bad men never said she struggled to find a way to make it happen, and I took all that struggle and I took a dump on it. I took a dump on it by just kind of living my life and living in the streets and running wild, running drugs, running drugs. I never really give her that sort of value, that sacrifice that she gave. I never do that. I just make it seem like, oh yeah, she's the best mom I've ever known, the best woman I've ever known, and no one else will live up to that. Therefore, here are the reasons why I don't like you guys. It's one point before I get back to playing this. If you have a bad experience with women, you listen, for most of us, we're going to have poor experiences with the opposite sex. Because in terms of when we just look at it, we just look at it in dating sense. And dating is a trial and error sport. You're going to fail more than you win, but you only need to win once, right? So when you have these poor experiences, that does not mean that it's an experience for all the other people. I said on one of the earlier videos I made, when I used to work at TSA, shout out to JFK, best airport in the world. Don't argue me, argue your mama. When people coming up to me, I'm taking their bags to throw in the scanner, and say it's 10 people. 7 of those people gave me an attitude. So I'm upset. I'm angry. Number 8 comes up. This is a brand new person, but I've got the trauma and the baggage from 7 other people. And I say trauma and baggage very loosely. I don't mean that's actually traumatic or that should have baggage, but my attitude is soured by the other people that I've experienced. So now here comes someone new, and I give them that very same attitude undeservedly that the last 7 had. What did that person do to deserve that? Even if they looked strikingly similar, even they share the same gender, same skin tone, same hair, same wig, doesn't matter. That person didn't do anything to deserve that vitriol. And you would think this is something that we can understand as adults, as we get older. That's a very simple thing to suss out and say, oh, this person didn't do anything to me. These people in front of me, as I'm explaining why I've given up on dating black women, here's my reasons. This, in my experience, in my limited experience, this has been the thing. I've been hurt. I've been cheated on. I've been disrespected. I haven't dealt with those things well enough. So, in order to protect myself, I'm going to X out an entire race of people because that's essentially what it is. Whenever you hear people saying, I don't because this has been my experience, my experience has been poor with them, that's fine. You don't shame them from that. You come from a place of understanding. This is a childlike sort of toddler response. I'm not going to deal with everyone that looks like you, that's the same gender as you, that has any type of similarities to you because I've been hurt in the past and I haven't done with that hurt well enough to continue forward. That's what it is, right? It's a defensive response based in pain, based in trauma, based in baggage. And we're not cognizant enough, we're not healthy enough as a society at large to understand that and say, this is why I should try to just take some time to back off and deal with this. Because if I want to get rid of an entire group of people, an entire race of people, and no longer have dealings with them, and I walk around with this sort of this knot of hatred and anger, I'm going to only transfer that forward. Regardless if I'm happy with someone else, and as in his case, as we've been talking about, says he's with an Indian woman, right? And he uses her hair and compares it to the black woman's in that clip that went viral. Again, that's just from a place of hurt because if anyone's in their right mind and just looking at things on a wide enough scale, you'd understand. You'd understand that there's got to be someone out there that makes sense. There's got to be someone else out there that fits that bill, that looks like your mom, that has the same skin tone as your mom, that you could deal with. But when you come from a place of hurt and trauma, you just say, of course, it's impossible. No one could live up to that. And the times that I tried to find that, I've just been hurt. I've just been hurt.
Him down the road with a shotgun.
Bro,
In the middle of the road.
outside my mum's house.
So your mum is black?
Yes.
And you don't feel like there's any other black woman that's like your mum? It's just your mum?
Not even
She's just a
close.
rare gem?
Not
She's
even.
just a one-off?
Big up the barking Albania. Eve ran to my house, to my mum's, banging on the door. Bah, 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 bah. Look out the window, boom, see the man them. Yo, open the door, bah, bah, bah. Open the door, boom, they've run in. The fuck is going on? Bro, Romanians, like, what? As I've said, what? Transit van pull up, bag of Romanian. Straight away, ran to my back garden, pulled up the shotty, and pulled out the JD bag, got the shotty out, jumped on top of the roof. When I've done this in about 20 seconds, gone to the front of the house on the top of the roof, and I'm they've looked up and gone, jumped back in the van and got off. This man's
I
mad.
jumped off the roof onto the floor and on into the middle of the road with the
You're chasing him down the road with a shotgun.
bro.
In the middle of the road.
Outside my mum's house.
Where are you supposed to find a good woman in that type of lifestyle, right? And for the mom that you love so much, right? The mom that's so important to you. Look what you're doing outside her house, right? There was growing up. There was a certain level of respect that you had to embody, right? And you didn't play about your parents' house, right? When I grew up, you said good morning, good afternoon, good evening, right? Whatever time it was, whenever you first saw them, you greeted them. My parents couldn't come into the house and we just sit down doing whatever we're doing. No, you got to get up and meet them at the door, right? It's just a sign of respect. You didn't invite certain things to the house. You didn't invite certain elements to the house because it would be disrespectful. If you love, we would think you love and you respect your mom. You wouldn't do stuff like this. You wouldn't have. Again, just realistically, because if she's caught up in any of that nonsense, then she's hurt, she's killed, or she has to watch you be hurt and killed. Why would you, why would you engage in any of that? But let's have a larger conversation about what he was saying. This conversation deals with just preferences, because in the chat, in the comments, you had people saying that, you know, he didn't have anything to apologize for, right? And depending how you feel about things, maybe, right? Maybe that's the case. I'll just turn the chat back on because sometimes it gets distracting. Evan Locks, hey, what's up? All right, for my best friend, guys, I appreciate you coming in. Again, this may be one for the replay gang. It was short notice. I think I even messed up the date. To be fair, whenever you see me mess stuff up like that, silly stuff like that, please let me know, call me out. It's usually I'm burning the candle both ends and I'm exhausted and I will slip up with the tiny things, the small things. But what I was saying about in his situation, what we're talking about, he's trying to communicate his preference. Can we say that? Can we understand that that's what he's trying to get off? He's trying to talk about, this is my preference in dating. Yes, the way he said it was absolutely convoluted. And the point I was continuously making, when you do it in that sort of fashion, when you do it that way, what ends up happening is you mess everything up. People are not, maybe they're not able to defend what you're saying. If you're saying that, hey, you routinely use wigs and I don't like wigs, what's the defense for that, right? Someone else in the chat brought up the Crown Act, where women, they had to make an actual law saying, yeah, you can't discriminate because of their hairstyles. So yes, that makes sense why you would see them not using, you know, more or less the propensity to use wigs. Well, we had to do this for such a while. Maybe this became part of the norm, part of the culture, became accepted.